Come on into my house. Come on into my house. We're going to get this thing started. We're going to get this thing started. Welcome to episode 3 of AeonEsq Live. We are going to get this thing started in a few. I thank you so much for returning. I apologize for my tardiness. I was supposed to come on earlier today at noon. However, life lifed and and I had to handle some stuff at home, so I was not able to be available earlier during the day. And then I had to fight with myself because I am now tired and I wanted to take a nap and I wanted to sleep and I wanted to eat my dinner early, but it just was not in the cards for that to happen, and that's okay. And I want to be consistent, and I said that I was going to come on here today, and I have to be a woman on my word, so we are here today. So just give me a quick second so I can share the video so people can know that I'm live. They can watch me now. If you're watching, please make sure to like the video. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get alerted every time that I go live. So just give me a quick second, and then we're gonna get this thing started because we got to talk about the fallout and the backlash from this documentary. Tyra's getting everything that she deserves, but I just really want to have a deeper conversation about exploitation because some of the things that y'all have been saying in light of everything that we have been going through as a people have really been concerning me, and I just think we just need to. I'm trying to be in a space to not read people, but just like, where is this coming from? And is there space for us to have a deeper conversation about this thing? So just give me a second, and then we can get this thing started. Okay, y'all, I am back. So let's do this and let's do this right. Again, I want to welcome you all to another installment of AeonEsq Live. Excuse me, I'm having a brain fart. Like I said earlier, it took me, I was supposed to come on here earlier, but I had some stuff come up, health related, not necessarily my health, but just getting the business of my health together. So I had to tend to that. I had to be very responsive. So that's why I came here later. But and then I was going to skip tonight and just try to do 2 hours tomorrow. But I want to be a woman of my word. I want to mean what I say and say what I mean. And we can still do this even if we're doing this later. And that's why I'm here now. So I just want to welcome you back to my space, the AeonEsq space. I also am so happy about the episode that we did yesterday. If you haven't watched it, please go back and be a part of the replay gang. We did an episode of AeonEsq Live yesterday where myself and my good friend and brother Alan Morrison, we discussed and broke down this documentary in depth. We were on here for about an hour and a half just talking about America's Next Top Model, our memories of just growing up with the show, how we saw things then versus how we see them now. And it was just a very good, a very generative conversation that I'm excited about. I actually watched the episode back, so I was so happy about the episode. And I really felt like we were able to say everything that we needed to say in reference to this documentary, in reference to what I hope what I hope what I hope are conversations that come out of this documentary. And I've also been on social media, like in my own personal social bubble, just watching. It's been interesting watching everybody's response to this documentary, how everybody is receiving this documentary. And for the most part, most folks are in alignment for Dragon Tyra because, like I said yesterday, I don't think this documentary necessarily tarnishes her legacy, but I don't think she had the best legacy to begin with. People have been on to Tyra and her shenanigans. People have been having questions about just like, what is your motivation? What is this really about? Do you really care? So I don't think this documentary tarnished her legacy or could have tarnished it even more. What it did do, and like what I said yesterday, it puts more things into perspective. It gives more context to situations, and it allows contestants who were in a situation where they did not have power, they did not have control, they did not have what's the word that I'm looking for? They did not have autonomy over themselves. It gave them their power back, and also it gave them a sense of their humanity back, because that's what happens in this process when you are powerless and beholden to a system. From my vantage point, it's like you're giving your humanity away, because the powers that be, when you go into these situations or any reality show, they have the ability to edit you in any type of way. They have the ability to record you when you don't want to be recorded. It's a lot of power that you give away to be in this position. Before I jump off into that conversation, I want to remind folks, so for those of y'all who don't know, I am located and I'm based here in Texas. Early voting started in Texas yesterday. I was supposed to vote early tomorrow, but because I had to leave my home today, and I'm just at a place, if we can get everything done at the same time in the same day, let's do that. So I had the honor of going to vote early in the Democratic primaries. So I say that to say, if you are in a state that has elections coming up in 2026 this year, and you are going through a primary season, please make sure you go vote. Like, we have to go vote. And it's so important for us in the Democratic Party, where, at least here in Texas, there are a lot of heavily contested, heavily surveilled races where we're trying, in the Democratic Party, we're trying to get a new guard in to actually make the Democratic be more left and get more leftist people in. And the way we have to the way that we do that is by showing up in the primaries. And when we have candidates who we are excited about, making sure that we show up for them, that they get the support at the polls that they need. Excuse me, I have no shame saying that I voted for Jasmine Crockett. Is Jasmine Crockett perfect? No. But is she making me feel something during this election cycle? Yes. So she gets my vote. She is out there. She's doing her thing. We already know what she's about. We already see what she's about. Right now she's running for the Democratic ticket for the Senate race for these horribly redrawn congressional district maps. It makes no sense why Jasmine Crockett could be my representative, because Jasmine Crockett lives in Dallas, and Dallas is about 3 hours away from Houston, and it's just a mess. But until we are able to rechange it and do it again, that's one of the options that we have. So I'm very happy that I had the privilege of voting for her. I hope that she wins. But today is not to sway or to sway anybody. It's just letting you know that early voting is happening now for these primaries, and we have to get out here. We have to make our voices heard. And even with everything that is going on, I still believe in the power of voting. So please go to your local governmental website and look up the information. If you can vote early, do that. But if you have to vote on election day for the primaries, do that as well too. So I just wanted to put that in there. And I am hopeful that Jasmine Crockett will not only be victorious for this Democratic primary, but I'm hopeful that she will be victorious when she has to go up against whoever the Republican candidate is this fall. So shout out to Jasmine Crockett. Go make sure you're registered to vote and go vote early. Okay, let's put a pin in that. Getting back to this America's Next Top Model conversation, it is becoming more and more clear to me that a lot of people out here are really struggling with the idea that any contestant that has went on America's Next Top Model has been exploited, could be exploited, and that's just really troubling to me. And it's a couple of comments that I've interacted with in particular where the general consensus is that you first there was an instant callous disregard. Well, we don't care about what happened to the people, or what happened to them really didn't matter. Tyra is not this monster. Everybody knows what they're signing up for, and you enter at your own risk. And I'm willing to accept part of that premise is true, but do we really know what it is that we're signing up for? Like, do we really know that, one? And two, when I see somebody that is experiencing harm or recounting something that was harmful or hurtful to them, my first reaction is not to tell them, this is what you deserve, or you knew what you were signing up for. And I think it speaks to us as, let's just limit it to us here at the States. I just think it speaks to our culture here in the United States of America, where we instantly lack empathy for people. We're not able to see any nuance in any situation. We're not able to play in the gray area to see other perspectives. And just this lack of empathy and this lack of nuance is kind of how cycles of people being exploited perpetuate themselves, because the people who are in power, the people who are committing the harm, they know that they'll ultimately be able to get away with their bad behavior because one, they're probably not going to be punished for it in a way that is impactful to the people that they've hurt. But on another level, they know that there's going to be a big audience of people that are going to do the work of chastising the quote unquote victim for surviving, for telling their story, for trying to hold the people accountable. It's us that's going to do the dirty work of perpetuating the shame and perpetuating the harm, which then allows Tyra to perpetuate her own unethical tactics, which she's at the end of the documentary boasting about teasing the 25th season of America's Next Top Model, of the show that don't nobody want and don't nobody need. Come on, y'all. Like, do we really know like what we're signing like? And people have been making parallels, even though this is not a SA type of reckoning or anything along that nature of the Diddy's and the Jeffrey Epstein's or anything like that. Even though it's not similar, people are drawing parallels and comparisons, and rightfully so, because it's the power imbalance. It's somebody really famous, really popular, that has access, that is quote unquote creating a platform where me, the little rustic looking girl from the middle of nowhere, or the homely girl, or the girl who has had doors shut in her face from the inner city, you're dangling opportunities, and you're creating it under the premise that excuse me, you're creating it under the premise that if I make myself available and if I do these things, that I will have all of these opportunities to change my life in a catastrophic way, even though we know that later on down the line it was the game was rigged, because the opportunities were never going to be there because the industry did not take the show seriously. But it still doesn't negate the level of exploitation, because you have somebody with power, access, control. Let's unpack the layers of control. The control to select you to be a part of the show, to be a part of this competition. The control to kick you out of the competition, to vote you out. The control to deem you the winner. Tyra and the powers that be. There were just so many levels of control and access and agency that they were able to take in ways that the contestants were not able to take, as we saw from the various stories, from Shandy being essayed, feeling uncomfortable trying to process her essay, and literally being held against her will, not being able to leave after she tried to leave on multiple occasions. We have Danny, who's basically, it's either you close your gap or you get out of the competition. And what did Danny have? Just a simple life back in Little Rock, Arkansas. Like, we really have to, instead of being callous and flippant and to just dismiss it, like, let's peel a couple of layers and let's really understand why, even against people's better judgment, even against other folks' stories of the horrors of what could happen, how you could have a situation that creates the perfect storm for people that don't have anything, but people who want everything, to align themselves with people that is presenting an opportunity to them, where you could basically get them to do whatever you want them to do to make the most of the opportunity. So we really have, I really challenge people to, and I really push back on the narrative that, that the contestants knew what they were signing up for. Do we all even really know like what it is we're signing up for when we're dealing with these institutions, whether it be credit card institutions, financial institutions, banks, the education system. Do we really know the price that we are paying to have access to these things? And we live in a world where there are lawsuits every day. Uh, 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 when we I think of predatory lending practices and mortgages, everybody has the opportunity to be exploited. So I I choose to show compassion I choose to show compassion for them because I know if and when I get in that situation again, or if I'm in that situation now, I would want somebody to consider the context of my situation too. I believe that words mean things. So I want to see if I can find a definition of the term exploitation. Exploitation definition and elements. Because y'all know I am a legal eagle. I am a legal eagle. Okay. I like this definition. Exploitation. Stay with me, y'all. Let me cook. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, and I hope this just generates some more conversation about this because I really do think that we need to talk about this. And we need to talk about this now because we have a president who's in office who's using their position to generate access and wealth for himself at the expense of us regular citizens, at the expense of our privacy and private information and health. We have to be able to put two and two together, y'all. We just have to be able to connect the dots and to let this documentary serve as an example of how we are all trying to chase this goal or ultimate goal, and the things, the red flags that we overlook, and how we ultimately end up in a worse situation than we were in. And it just, we are no better for having gone through this experience. So let me share. Let me see if I can share my screen. So let's start off with the definition. I like to keep it simple. Okay. Can y'all see me? And let me see. Let me go to my YouTube channel so I can make sure that y'all are seeing what I am seeing. Yes. Okay. So let's do this. Let's take it back to school. Y'all know, a side note, y'all know I have been thinking about going back to school to be a law school professor. It's just something very empowering about teaching and about, it's something about empowering about that, but that's just a side note. We don't have to get into that now. Also make sure you like, if you're watching live, make sure you like the video, make sure that you subscribe. But yeah, I really want to talk about this. So exploitation. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay. Yes. Exploitation, according to the dictionary, the action or fact of treating someone unfairly in order to benefit from their work. Another definition, the action of making use and benefiting from resources. Let's see if they have some more. Okay. So just a simple definition. Okay, so let's complicate this a little more. Okay. So I'm gonna stop sharing that screen and I'm going to share this screen right here. Okay. So from open democracy, let me make this bigger for the children. What is exploitation in the context of modern slavery? A legal proposal. So it looks like this is an article from December 2020. Still kind of relevant, although that was like 5 years ago. So, exploitation in the context of modern slavery is defined by three conditions: abuse of vulnerability, excessive gain, and sustained action. Ooh, I like me being a legal mind. I like elements. Show me the elements. Okay. So, let me see. This is an article. Okay. Let's see how, let's give credit. Marija Jovanovic breaks this down. Three elements of her proposed definition of exploitation in the context of modern slavery. The three elements are A, abuse of vulnerability of the exploitee; B, excessive disproportionate gain acquired through actions of the exploitee; and C, sustained action the practice takes the sustained action the practice takes place over a period of time. I must first note that my proposed definition of exploitation applies only to the practices of modern day slavery and represents the severity threshold for triggering important state obligations to protect victims under human rights law. Accordingly, while we may consider exploitation as a continuum, it is important to distinguish that practices that trigger state obligations required by international human rights law from lesser forms of exploitation that warrant different types of action or no action at all. Okay. So I don't think we have to go that deep because we are not saying that, for instance, let's recontextualize this, that we're not saying that the U.S. government should come in and protect these models or whatever. We're not saying that, but I do think that this expanded definition with elements. I think this gives us a really great launching pad and a really great place to really talk about like what is going on. So let's contextualize this in the landscape of America's Next Top Model and Tyra Banks. And even going back to that first definition, the act or fact of treating someone unfairly to benefit for their work. Like, so let's really break this down, y'all. You have this television show that is led by this famous Black woman supermodel. You do these casting calls for these girls, and you often cast these girls who are fresh out of high school or a couple of years out of high school, young ladies who maybe are still finding themselves and don't know their boundaries, but are also that they don't have the awareness and lived experience to really advocate for themselves. So that it's just prime target for somebody or something or a system that is predatory in nature to kind of swoop in, take advantage of their vulnerability, their desire to one, either be a model or be famous, and really abuse them and really manipulate the relationship to your benefit. Okay, let's go to element B: excessive disproportionate gain acquired through the actions of an exploitee. So who had everything to gain from the show? From these girls coming season after season after season, being able to have high ratings, being able to be a part of the cultural zeitgeist at the time. Tyra Bank and Kim Mock and the executives at UPN and then CW, they had everything to gain. And also, there was a lot of things that were not discussed in that documentary. I'm pretty sure that the ladies that appear on the cycles weren't really paid a lot of money. I'm pretty sure that they weren't fed, hence a lot of them having eating disorders and people falling out on the show, being dehydrated. I just lost my train of thought. But Tyra and them had everything to gain, and you don't become successful in business here in America, let alone the world, without taking shortcuts, without doing the least to get the most. And Tyra and company have been able to benefit for the good, bad, and ugly. We still associate Tyra Banks with an America's Second Top Model and the success of the show, even through all of the controversies. That's why she's able to come back and sit in this documentary now and kind of feign ignorance and not really take accountability. And that's why she can platform herself to promote the next season of the show and say, hey guys, there's a whole new crop of young ladies, and probably they're gonna put some men into the mix and some non-binary folks, and they're willing to give me everything for this shot to be famous. and and Tyra and company are able to bank on this, to make the money, to get the recognition and acclaim, and not have to look back at the people that they've harmed, the people that they left in the dust, the people that they mistreated. So there's definitely gain that Tyra Banks, that Ken Mock, that the invisible executives at the show network at the time, that they benefited from, that they gained through the vulnerable contestants that were on the show that were powerless. Also, we have to state that I'm pretty sure Tyra and them had lawyers and the legal system at their disposal. They didn't discuss this in the documentary, but I did see just conversations, ancillary conversations from some of the past contestants. I can't remember who it is. God, I wish I could have had this. I should have screenshotted this. But they talked about how they were also forced to sign non-disclosure agreements that lasted for 10 years after they appeared on the show. So it's again another imbalance of power where Tyra and company had way more power and control than the contestants that were coming onto the show for a shot at stardom to change their life. The last element, sustain action. The practice takes place over a period of time. So that is obvious because there were 24 cycles slash seasons of the show. They were able to do this again and again and again and again until the popularity of the show waned, and it was more advantageous for them to just stop doing the show instead of trying to repeat the same thing for another time. So I just think that is explained. Let me see if I can find anything else that talks about exploitation. Let me put the screen back on me. Let me put the image file back up. Thank y'all for being here. I see people are watching the show live. Hey y'all, thank y'all for watching. If y'all have any commentary or anything y'all would like to add to the conversation, definitely feel free. This is definitely my point of view and just my conversation, but this is a communal conversation and we all are learning together, and we're all having a conversation together, and it's an opportunity for us to stretch and grow. I believe that to be true. Exploitation, expanded definition. Okay. Okay, so where does this come from? I like this definition. However, I want, because I am a legal eagle and I am an academic. I want to give credit to who's ever coming up with these these definitions. We love AI. However, um We love AI, but however, I want to give credit to people who come up with these concepts or ideas. Um, but let me just give the definition, but also give credit. Well, acknowledge that I'm still looking for whoever created this, because I just want to give credit, y'all. It's only right. Okay, so AI. What is AI? Just a quick AI search. Exploitation is the act, and let me make this bigger so that we all can see it. Exploitation is the act of taking unfair advantage of a person, group, or resource for selfish gain, typically driven by power imbalances, coercion, or manipulation. Expanded beyond simple unfairness, it encompasses systematic institutional abuse, such as modern slavery, financial, sexual, or criminal exploitation of someone. And this definition came from the preventing exploitation toolkit. So I'm assuming that there's some organization that goes around and does work and does this, but this is what AI has shared. But yeah, I just think we have to have a more nuanced conversation about exploitation and how it shows up and how it showed up in this particular documentary with the show. But also, we all know it's not just limited to this show. It's just not limited to the modeling industry. But this is what we are talking about right now. Okay, this is what we are talking about right now, and we're talking about Tyra, and it is what it is, and we should be able to do that, y'all. But and people have been making the links between um the America's Next Top Model and just that environment, that power imbalance, and making the band when it was Diddy's show, and just how just Diddy maneuvers with really making connections to the music industry. And we all know now just the abuses that are able to occur in the music industry because of the power imbalance, because of the desire to be a star, the unknown, the unknown about how horrible the music industry is, how exploitative it is. And when you have people who are predatory, people who are trying to be successful, people who are trying to get money, not just money for now, but generational money. Because Tyra really doesn't do anything anymore. I know she has the warm ice cream thing, whatever that is, but I'm pretty sure that is a passion project. I'm willing to take a guess that the money that she was able to generate from the success of the show, she's probably still living off that money now, to the point where she can go live in a whole nother country, raise her family in a whole other country. But there are just so many parallels to this in the music industry, and just the scandals that we've heard, and how people in power were able to prey on people's desire to be famous, people's desire and want to change their family life or change their family circumstances. Even in the situation of Harvey Weinstein in the movie industry, like you want to try to act like all of these things are different and separate, but they are all interconnected, and they're all happening at the same time. And unfortunately, these are the tactics that are prevalent across so many industries. So we really have to, one, acknowledge that we really don't know that what we are signing up for, and two, we have to have discussions about it so that you can have language about it. I can have language about it, so that when we see it again, when it happens again, we're able to call out, or we're able to say that we're able to say a thing is a thing, and we're able to give people tools to empower them to advocate for themselves. Because unfortunately, this will happen again. When we live in a capitalistic country, we live in the capitalistic world, where business owners or people who want to become rich, they want to get the most for the least. And oftentimes at the bottom rungs of it are people who are desperate to pay their bills, who are trying to make a way out of no way, trying to find money, and people who would do anything to make sure that they are okay. And it makes us, and I include myself, I have the propensity to be exploited. But also, if I become a business owner, well, technically I am a business owner right now, but if I want to become a millionaire, I have the propensity to be on the other side and exploit people to make money and get a return on my investment. So it's just so important for us to have these conversations, to connect the dots. And if we are really about shifting the paradigm, like we talk about, if we're really trying to get back to being people centered and making sure that we are valuing people and we are empowering people, I really caution all of us to resist the urge of just carelessly discounting people and just putting people to the side, because it's an inconvenient truth that makes us have to look at one of our beloved icons, whether you love her or hate her. Tyra Banks is an icon, and that's not going to change, even though that we are in a position to critique her, and she's not above critique. We all are not above critique. However, we would be doing ourselves a disservice by really not interrogating not only her actions now, but her unwillingness to really engage with the conversation in a meaningful way, to show that she gets it and to show that she's willing to do something different in the future. I really don't know if she's willing to do something. I know the intent for her coming in was for her to make the modeling world more diverse, but I really think that ended with the promulgation of that first season. Even with the shenanigans that were going on with Ebony, who was on season 1, I just really think some of the things that happened at the very onset, I just think you have to abandon this altruistic idea that like you did it to make TV. You did it to make TV. You did it to make ratings, and that is what it is. Also, okay, let's put the exploitation piece to the side. I just wanted to bring that in because I really feel like people don't really understand like what exploitation is, and also I think people don't understand the ways in which we can be exploited, but also the ways in which the ways in which we are incentivized to exploit people, especially living in a society where we have classism, where we are conditioned to look down on people that have less than us. We're conditioned to not have sympathy or to not have emotions for people who are poor or people who are in poverty. So I just really want us to really think about this. And the longer that I have this platform, I'm pretty sure this conversation is going to come up again, because it's something that, especially as more people become disenfranchised. Hello, unemployed here, trying to find where my next paycheck is coming from. I just think these conversations are not going away. They're just not going away. Ooh, I need to start writing stuff down, y'all, because I had another touch point that I wanted to go to with this conversation in regard. Let me try talking it out and see if by me talking it out, I'm able to get back to that touch point. It was kind of related to exploitation. Damn, y'all, this is my mind. I have so many thoughts and so many things bubbling in my head at the same time. But I like this documentary. Oh, okay. This is where I want to go. See, I knew if I would talk, I would go back. We can do both and y'all. We can acknowledge that in 2026, and I think I talked about this a little bit yesterday. We can acknowledge that in 2026, we have a new awareness of these terms, and for instance, exploitation and sexual SA and harassment and grape culture. Yes, we can acknowledge that times have changed. We are more aware. We are more savvy. Also, in 2003 or whatever point in the past, times were different. Like, we can acknowledge that. However, the things that people went through in the past were wrong. Even if that was the spirit of the time and that's just what people were doing, it was still wrong. And we still have to be intentional and find ways to hold space and verbally say that what you went through in the back, it wasn't all, no, it was wrong. And yes, we know better now, but somebody should have advocated for you back then. Tyra, as the head, as the face, that should have been you. You didn't do that in that documentary. But we can have double consciousness, y'all. We can have double awareness that things that things that were permissible in the past, that were a staple of the time, that we now see as wrong, we can still hold space for acknowledging that it was wrong then, because the reality is, using the people, using the subjects who were from the documentary, you can look at Shandy physically and just her, and I'm not talking about her size, but I'm just talking about her spinner, her energy, her spirit, how she held her body in the seat. You can tell that experience feels just as real now as it did then when it occurred. So we have to figure out a way how to acknowledge how things have changed and how we would never do things today that we did then, but also acknowledging that it was wrong then. Even if it was in vogue to do it, it was still wrong, and we still need to offer a space for apologies, giving people an opportunity to express really how they feel. And even going back to Ebony, with her talking about her experience of her dealing with the racism and the homophobia, she buried that situation, she buried those emotions, and she even said in the documentary, wow, I haven't really had to think about this until today, or I haven't been able to talk about this to today. Like, that pain is real, even if which leads me to understand and recognize that it was wrong then and it was wrong now, and we can do space to acknowledge both of those things. And I see so much of that in reactions and responses to this particular documentary. I see it when we have such. I saw it a lot during the Me Too movement, where we have people finally feeling free to come forward about their essay, and people either shaming them for waiting all of these years to come forward, or people pacifying the perpetrator, saying, oh, well, things were different then, and we could get away with things then that we couldn't get now. It still doesn't take away that even if you could get away with those things now, that it was still problematic then, it was still painful then, and we need to acknowledge the hurt then, and we need to acknowledge it now. And it's just really interesting seeing how difficult it is for people to reconcile it. And in my personal in my personal opinion, when I see people and that is very difficult for them to acknowledge that something that happened in the past was wrong then, what that lets me know is you really don't want to acknowledge it in the present either. Hence, Tyra just kind of either not acknowledging a lot of the stuff that happened in the past, not wanting to talk about it, or just trying to trivialize it by saying, "No, I didn't have any information. If I could have did, if I would have known better, I would have did better." But it's like we're literally talking about how you did not do better, and you are like you're just living in this fantasy world, and you probably don't want to acknowledge it because you probably have your own pain that you've gone through. Maybe you don't want to incur any liability. Like, I get it, but we have got to start doing a better job, because if I could feel pain in the past about being made fun of because I'm black or because I'm dark skinned or because I'm queer, and that pain was real for me then, and I still feel that pain and I'm still holding on to that pain and I haven't let it go. It's real for me now because I have the language to properly and effectively express like all of my feelings. But it was real for me too then at the point of contact when I had the initial trauma, I had the initial harm. So I just it's been really interesting in people and how everybody's reading statuses and watching TikTok videos, how so many people are struggling with the ability to acknowledge that just because something was permissible in the past doesn't mean that it was okay. Like, it was still wrong then and it's still wrong now. Before I do this last leg, because we are reaching an hour and I have some things I need to do. I want to remind you all, if you have not already, hit the like button on this video. Also, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please go subscribe so that you can get notifications and alerts anytime that I go live. Also, I just want to thank y'all. This is episode 3 of AeonEsq Live. I just want to thank y'all for supporting me. Thank you all for being here. This is like a really leap of faith. Y'all don't know, I'm just so critical of myself and how I sound, but I know I have something to say. And just the way that y'all have shown up, the comments that y'all have left, it just really makes me feel good about doing this. And I really, really, really feel good about the community that we are all curating here. I see some new people in the room. Welcome to episode 3 of AeonEsq Live. We are towards the end. We're towards the final lap. And mainly today I've been breaking down just some further outtakes and some additional commentary in the light of America's Next Top Model, the reality check documentary. I wanted to have a conversation about exploitation and how that showed up in this documentary, because there are a lot of people. It's a lot of people that feel as if the young ladies knew what they were signing up for, and that signaled to me that people really don't understand how exploitation and how power and control works, not only in the reality TV industry and in the just all of the entertainment industries, but really how we are all susceptible to being exploited. Or on the other side, if you are somebody that lives in America, like most of us do, like I'm sure most of our viewers do, you are susceptible to being the person that exploits people for gain, because that's the world that we live in. We also have to give ourselves grace. We are all unlearning this stuff. I am unlearning this stuff too. One of the things that I struggle with is classism and possibly being in classes. But it's no shade. I like nice things. I like money, but I like money because I like to take care of myself. But I do try to be aware of the ways in which I can perpetuate classism. I can perpetuate elitism because I am an attorney and I did go to law school, and I do have a lived experience that's different. So it's just we are all unlearning this. This is not for people to feel smarter than the other one. We all need to get this because this is what's going to help us survive. This is what's going to help us to get to the next level, to get to the critical level. But it's very important for us to understand that we all have the ability to be exploited. Hell, we're being exploited right now through this current administration because, like I said earlier, we have somebody in office that's basically using the office to benefit themselves at the expense of us, at the expense of our economy, at the expense of our own personal data and information. Like we are being exploited right now. We all have to find our navigate our ways in these different systems of exploitation. Oh, it looks like we have a comment. Make it make sense. Is this really you? Is this really you, Mims? If this is really you, thank you for commenting. I love your channel and I love what you do. I feel like I saw you out. I'm not going to give where we're at, but I feel like I saw you out. But I respect you. I respect your channel. I look up to you. You're definitely a possibility model. And thank you for commenting. Thank you. This is really dope. If this is really you, this is dope. And I love your channel. And as a lawyer, I love the way that you break down stuff and the conversations that you have and how you bring people in. I really, I know you're not a lawyer, but I really respect how you take the time to really go to the documents and to really go to the facts. That's just really important in the time that we live in and the shade room and neighborhood times that we live in, where people can be easily swayed in the court of public opinion rather than just sticking to the facts, which sometimes can go against people who we love, who we idolize. So your channel is so important. And thank you for watching. I don't know any other memes too, but I just wanted to make sure before I fanned out. But thank you for joining and thank you for commenting. I definitely appreciate it. I think I want to end it here. I saw another comment, and I just want to have this for the point of just having conversation because I could be wrong. Somebody that I follow on social media kind of made the equivalency between America's Next Top Model and Love and Hip Hop in the sense that, why are we bullying Tyra and ganging up on Tyra basically when Mona Scott does the same thing through the castmates through the cast that appears on Love and Hip Hop, because she's essentially exploiting them too. And we've heard stories about how they have been exploited. And no, I saw you, but I never want to be the one that just runs up. But I think I saw you, and you're very tall. You're very tall. I didn't expect you to be tall. I'm tall too, but yeah. The next time I see you, I'll definitely give you a hug and acknowledge you. But thank you. But getting back to that conversation, this person said that we don't chew Mona Scott Young up for exploiting the cast of Love and Hip Hop. So why are we doing it to Tyra? And to me, I see that as a false equivalency, mainly because I'm not going to say that Mona Scott Young has not exploited the cast on Love and Hip Hop Young, because like I said, it comes with the territory. Like, it's the name of the game. However, I think that's a false equivalency, and I think we do ourselves a disservice by just making this flat assumption that just because they're reality shows, they're both led by powerful Black women, that there is the same. I don't necessarily see it that way. I definitely see nuance insofar as the people on. First of all, you're comparing a reality-based competition show to a ensemble docudrama reality show. To me, that's where the differences begin. And then, particularly with Love and Hip Hop, the people on Love and Hip Hop have I would argue, a way larger degree of autonomy over their narrative, insofar as maybe not on the show, maybe not the storyline that they get for a particular season. However, we've seen so many examples of people who, and also nobody. I don't think Mona Scott Young or the powers that be, because I know after a while she wasn't dealing with the day to day of Love and Hip Hop. I don't think people on Love and Hip Hop are dangling a carrot saying that if you come on the show, you're going to be a star. For the most part, the people that come on Love and Hip Hop are already stars, or are already infamous in their own right. It's very rare that somebody is a complete nobody, or somebody is in dire poverty where they're coming on Love and Hip Hop, and where they need Love and Hip Hop to just get them known. For the way that Love and Hip Hop works is that the people are already known, or you're known through your connection to a famous person. So I don't think it's the same level of exploitation. I don't think it ever could be. Also, after the show, you had people that are able to use the opportunity to use the visibility as a springboard to larger things. You don't you Over the 24 cycles of America's Next Top Model, you don't that's not something that we really saw. Uh, in America's Next Top Model, you often saw people stifle. Them being on America's Next Top Model gave them a scarlet letter, as opposed to, you could say, during the earlier seasons of Love and Hip Hop, that might have been a scarlet letter. I think we saw that the most with K Michelle, especially when she was like early in like developing her career. And she's talked about how when she came out with the first album, Rebellious Soul, how there were radio station programmers that didn't even want to play the album, give her a chance, because she was a reality star, a quote unquote ratchet reality star from Love and Hip Hop. And I think a lot of that was true in the beginning, but we also have to contend with the fact that she was still able to sign to a major label, Atlantic, and she was able to have opportunities in spite of the obstacle, but she was still able to have some sort of agency over her career that wasn't dictated by the TV show and the powers that be over the show itself. And we've seen this so many times. K Michelle was able to springboard and do stuff. Cardi B was able to be on Love and Hip Hop for 2 seasons and have this massive, colossal, blockbuster rapping career. I feel like it's somebody else from Love and Hip Hop that has been like that now, and I don't know if it's going to continue because I know Love and Hip Hop Miami, they're in the middle of their final season, and I don't know if Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is being canceled or not. But now, when people come on Love and Hip Hop now, you come on Love and Hip Hop, particularly if you're in the music arena, to be a springboard to have greater visibility in the music world and launch your career. So again, I'm not here to say that I'm not here to say that there is no exploitation at Love and Hip Hop at all, because in the context of the show and the narrative of the show, they're not in control about how their story is picked for them, picked for their character. They're not in control how they are edited. But I'm willing to argue that after said season is over, they're able to, if they're serious about their craft, they're able to take their opportunity and use the visibility to platform them into higher heights, where they're able to make more money. They're able to do different business ventures after the show in ways that has never happened on America's Next Top Model. I think it's only a handful of people that have been able to come from America's Next Top Model and be taken serious as serious models, not commercial models. Because let's remember, those of us who were students of America's Next Top Model, and America's Next Top Model, again, that was my high school, that was my youth. I remember watching this show, and there was a big distinction between commercial modeling, so modeling that you did for like companies like Procter and Gamble, or like when you see the holiday commercials. That is a lower rung, a different realm from high fashion modeling. And there are more people from that show that I saw doing commercial stuff and being on commercials, but I think we can all count on one hand or maybe one or two fingers people who have been able to come from America's Next Top Model and be taken seriously as one of the girls in the fashion world. Winnie Harlow. It's another girl who was Somali who I'm doing research on, who was able to go and have like a legitimate modeling career, like working for the major fashion houses. So I think there's exploitation? Yes, but I personally feel like the Love and Hip Hop folks are able to exhibit a greater degree of autonomy, and they're able to use the opportunity to capitalize off of their visibility. And we have so many documented instances of that. Even Ray J for a period of time, and Ray J, that's just a whole nother video or deep dive. But even Ray J, when he was on the show, when he had success in the products arena, when he was associated with Raycon and had the Scooty bikes, I'm pretty sure that the visibility on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood probably play and also him being able to showcase his marriage to Princess Love and his family. We also, another side conversation is how men are able to use monogamy and family and having the ideal family or the ideal nuclear family image, how that benefits them in business and in the working world. But that's a whole different conversation, and I don't know if y'all ready for that yet. And also how that intersects with the women trans experience. But I don't know if y'all are ready for that conversation yet, or I'm gonna have to do that behind the paywall for a special members only video. But I'm willing to bet that Ray J was able to capitalize from his appearance on the show with his girlfriend, documenting the building of his traditional family, and that benefited him in all of the side business ventures that he had. So again, I'm not saying that Mona hasn't exploited the girls, because now Mimi did an interview with Carlos King, and Mimi talked about how she was underpaid compared to Stevie J and Jocelyn. And then Jocelyn, damn it, I really should have had screenshots. And then Jocelyn responded and saying like, well, baby, all of us were underpaid if you really want to talk about it. That's why I had to take the route that I take and go and went to Zeus to create my excuse me, go to Zeus to create my own franchise. And now I'm starting my own streaming app. So baby, all of us was underpaid. So again, I'm not saying that the Love and Hip Hop children weren't exploited, but I think they benefited from premiering like a generation after America's Next Top Model. And also Love and Hip Hop existed during the time where we had social media, where we had Twitter, we had Instagram. So it was more ways for people to engage directly with their fan base and grow directly with their fan base, and just have access in ways that we didn't have social media when America's Next Top Model was during its original heyday. You know, if anybody has any commentary, please feel free to comment. I see we have some more people in the live. Let me welcome you to the live. My name is Brianna Jenkins, but I am also AeonEsq, and you are watching episode 3 of AeonEsq Live. My goal is to come here. This is just a daily pop culture politics show that I do. I usually do it during the lunchtime hour, but some stuff happened today. I had to handle some business, so we're doing this later. My plan is to be here tomorrow at noon Central Standard Time. So we could talk about some more stories. But I just really wanted to circle back to this America's Next Top Model thing, because there's just a lot more conversation that's happening in regards to this story. And I just think we all, the number one goal is to be entertained, but I also think there's a lot of learning opportunities for us. It's a lot of opportunities for us to be in dialogue with each other. We can agree, we can disagree, but I think it's good for us to be in dialogue with each other and really learn from one another. So I'm really happy that y'all are spending your time here with me on Wednesday night. Tomorrow when I come on, I am going. So another part of me is I love queer web-based reality TV. And tonight, I don't know if it's on yet, but it should be a new episode of Chasing Atlanta season 7. I am a mega fan of Chasing Reality, and I'm want to do my own type of like brief review for Chasing Atlanta season 7. I want to give a shout out to Dario Abrams, creator, executive producer. And I want to do the review in my own way. Like I watch TTB, I watch Stylish TV. I appreciate the those platforms for what they are. I'm not here to be in the mess or to be in the background scenes. I am just here to talk about what I see and just leave it there and just try to create a space. So if you want to see my Chasing Atlanta review tomorrow, please join me back here during the lunchtime hour. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe so that when I go live, you'll be notified when I go live, or when I make any other content, you'll be notified when I make other content. But y'all, I'm just here to have fun for y'all, and I'm here to grow to a community. Hi, Roll On Rebel. How are you doing? Do you do your own reviews, Roll On? But yeah, I just wanna do a review, and I just wanna do Ondario Right. I just want to do Ondario Right. I'm not here for the behind the scene. Like I will let the other platforms have it. I am just here to talk about what I see, to talk about what I like, to talk about what I have concerns about, see if there's other areas for deeper conversation, and just go from there, and just really to support the platform, to support the show, to support its return. If I look familiar, for those who are coming from that audience, when I had my podcast, Girl Down Podcast, I would run advertisements. I think it may have been season 6 of Chasing Atlanta, or it was one of those seasons. But yeah, I love the platform. I love the show. And I just want to talk about it. I've been meaning to do this since it premiered, but I was still debating if I was going to come back and have a YouTube platform. But when I did it, when I did come back, I was like, I definitely can't do this and do a daily show and not talk about Chasing Atlanta. So we will definitely be talking about Chasing Atlanta and reviewing Chasing Atlanta tomorrow. I see some new people in here. Welcome to AeonEsq Live. I'm Aeon. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe, and also please like the video. Please like the video. Those likes really matter. They really count. Please like the video. I will stay on. I'll keep it open. If y'all have any reactions to the conversation that I had today, or if you have anything you want to talk about, I will please feel free to get in the comments or the chat and let me know. I will bring it up. I'll answer any questions. But if I don't hear anything from anybody, well, I'll close it out when it's time to close it out. Yes, honey. Make sure y'all go like the video. I see some of y'all have liked the video. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. I'm so appreciative. I was so nervous coming back to the space and coming back to this medium and being on camera, because y'all be hard on the girls. Y'all be hard on the girls, and if the girls don't look like dolls or whatever, y'all be letting the girls have it. But we're going to overcome that. I'm here, and I'm here. You know, I like to look good and stuff, but I'm here for y'all to get into my brain, to get into my mental, and for us to be in conversation together. Also, if you go on my channel, I will have all of these videos on a playlist, the AeonEsq Live playlist. I did my first episode on Monday, which it was cute enough, but it's a pilot episode, so don't be too rough, y'all. And then yesterday I did an episode doing a more traditional review of excuse me, the reality check documentary for America's Next Top Model. I was joined by my friend and colleague Alan Morris, where we did really a deep dive on the documentary, and we talked about what the show meant to us. So make sure, and we did it yesterday, so make sure that you go watch that. Y'all, you become a part of the replay gang and you watch that. You can leave comments on it. Make sure you like that video too, and just let us know what y'all thought about the video. Let me see if anybody has any other comments or reactions. Y'all, I'm so appreciative of y'all being in here. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I don't want to be cheesy and do the heart thing, but this really warms my heart, y'all. What's your question, Tyra? And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the video yesterday and commenting. Or what was your reaction to the documentary? Y'all, should I put the link for people to come up and join? Should I do that? Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna put the link in here. So for the final couple of minutes, if people want to come on camera or not, they can come and join me and give their commentary. So Tara topics. Shout out to my sister Tara. It doesn't seem like Mr. or Miss J took any responsibility for their behavior. I don't think Tyra is the only person to blame. No, I don't feel like Tyra is the only person to blame, but I feel like she will have to take most of the blame because she is the face and she's the head. For Miss J, let's be honest. I don't feel like Miss J was really in a position to like take accountability. Like, no shade. It felt like Miss J was just there going through the motions and happy to be. And it really felt like Miss J couldn't do a lot because most of the things Miss J was doing was just like facial, like looking down over the cameras. And so I'm gonna give Miss J a pass because Miss J has been through a lot. Excuse me, y'all. I'm on the back end of a sinus infection, and y'all know how that post nasal drip cough is, and it's wearing me out. Mr. J, and I talked about this in the review yesterday. I don't really, so I feel multiple ways about Mr. J. I feel like he was just as complicit as Tyra and perpetuating and a lot of the stuff. Particularly when the story about Kenya and her experiencing the harassment on set, and how he basically then pacified it and really didn't do anything, and then talking about it in the present really didn't have any like vehement expressions of this is wrong and we should have did something else. So I was looking at Mr. J crazy too. Also, I have compassion for him because he did try to leave. But I talked about this yesterday. This is just a reminder for me to follow my first mind when it comes to stuff. And sometimes you have to be willing to risk it all. And in the documentary, he talked about being blackballed. But sometimes my motto for 2026 is I'm following my first mind about people, places, and situations because every time I have not done that, I have ended up gagging and circling back to the point like I should have did what I wanted to do when I first arrived at the situation. And going back to the documentary, had Mr. J left and just took the risk, maybe he would have been blackballed. Maybe he wouldn't have been black. Maybe he wouldn't have been. But had he left, he would not have been. He would not have had to go on through successive cycles. He would have. He just would have been able to let his friendship with Tyra in instead of having to be in space with her and she's being all passive aggressive and weird. And then you could have saved face and not have been fired later on because they probably wanted to fire you when you did that, but they just waited and played the game. So yeah, I think Mr. J didn't really take any responsibility, but there's also nuance and layers. And I just Mr. J is just trying to survive. I'm willing to give Miss J a pass. I really am. And out of all of them, Miss J, even though Miss J was shady and was catty, looking back, it seems like Miss J really had compassion for the girls, even more compassion than Tyra. So we have somebody on stage, so I will bring them up.
Good evening.
I think you may be muted.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear, no, I can hear you. I'm sorry, I can hear
Good
you.
evening. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I am a big fan of this show. Have always been a big fan. Have watched all 24 cycles. I feel multiple ways. I don't know which way I want to take this. Okay, let's start here. In terms of Mr. J, you have some valid points. But what made me side eye him was in 2020 when Oliver Twix started doing the J chats and
Mm-hmm.
having the contestants on. And then really was invasive about some of the girls' experiences and things. And then when Oliver started doing the chats, then the other girls started exposing some of the issues that they had with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, you my problem is you wrote a book about your experience with Tyra, but when it was all good, you was eating it up. So once she became your enemy, then she's a problem.
So you feel like Mr. J is riding a fence.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do. I do. In terms of Miss J, even I've watched most of Oliver's chats with the girls, and a lot of the girls have said Miss J was supportive, even though Miss J was being shady. Now, here's my issue with Tyra. Girl, there's been numerous incidents. Ebony, Tiffany, Kenya, Angelique, Bree, Veron, all these girls, you're harder on these girls. I believe America's Next Top Model was created because you went through the stuff that you went through in the industry. Did you want to change the fashion industry? Yes. But you also were not healed from what you had experienced. And I
Mhm.
think the whole purpose of America's Next Top Model being created, you did the same thing that the people did to you.
Right.
And then to get on here to be like, oh, well, girl, I'm sorry. I'm this, I'm that. No. Because, like I said in my post, I said, I'm a therapist. And if I do wrong to my patients, y'all, the public, are going to look at me as this is your responsibility as a therapist. How wrong of you? And because she's Tyra Banks, she gets a pass? No, ma'am.
Right.
No, ma'am. Professional or not, model or not, you are wrong. And the fact of you sitting up here and saying, "Well, Cycle 25 is coming," am I gonna watch? But yeah, you absolutely right. One thing she did not mention, and they failed to mention on this documentary, which I'm gonna watch the second documentary, is I don't know if you've watched all the cycles, so if you're gonna get the reference that I get.
Okay.
So there's a girl on. that was on the show named Angelique. So there have been several girls that have been known to prostitute. So America's Next Top Model knew this. They invited her not once but twice. So this no, excuse me, three times because she was also on the All Star cycle. So you make it all the way to the end, and then they say we find out some information from you to find out you're disqualified from the competition. So is it she violated the NDA? Because if she violated the NDA, then I understand. But if the problem is you don't want America's Next Top Model to be an escort, but you knew this, there's a problem.
Right.
So it's you know things, but you don't know things. Tyra is like another celebrity, which I don't like, which Nicki Minaj. You holler it's a problem, but you're creating this problem, but you don't want to own up to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. And so I will forever have smoke for Tyra because you're still sitting here as if you've done nothing wrong. And it's like you ever met that person that know they're wrong but refuse to acknowledge it? That's
Mm-hmm.
the way I see her. So until you acknowledge the fact that, yeah, I did these girls wrong and I'm sorry, I don't have nothing for you. Kim Mock was responsible, yes. But I'm looking at you as the individual, as a celebrity. As a celebrity, you hold weight. Regardless of what they do, we're the one looking at you in a certain way. So all this smoke y'all have for Chris Brown and R. Kelly and all these other people, give that same smoke to her. And that's just the way I see it.
Well, thank you for sharing that, and I definitely I don't disagree with anything that you said, but thank you for coming up here and sharing that, and thank you for just interacting and being up here. I hope this isn't the last time that you come back,
Of
and
course not. Because
yeah.
I wanna weigh in with your chasing stuff.
Okay, well, I'll be here tomorrow. So hopefully, when I go live tomorrow, you'll be here, and then we could talk about the episode together. And I wonder, is it airing now?
I don't know. I ain't looking no more.
Okay,
The
yeah.
last time I looked, it wasn't.
Okay.
Because I have some thoughts that I want to ask you.
Well, let's wait until we get into the chasing reality review tomorrow. You could
Okay.
ask me, but yeah, let's put a pin on it.
Will do. See you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow. Okay, let me bring the image back up. Um, I'm gonna read some more comments and then I think we can get up off of here because I am about to hit the hour and a half mark. So Tara said, someone should have raised the big red flag. Someone should have stood up at that moment and said these things are wrong. I gagged all through. No, I gagged too. And I gagged because and I talked about this on the episode yesterday. I had I had the memory of the show's airing and the narrative that they put out, particularly about the Shandy situation. And I remember that, and they really played it like she was this caterpillar to a butterfly, and she was feeling herself, and she throwing her snatch all around town. And then to have the context that not only was it a sexual assault, but she was just failed on she was failed on so many levels, from the actual assault to the replay of the assault to even when she came back to the Tower show years later, and she just was our boundaries were violated in so many ways. So yes, Tara, I feel the same way too. Thank you, Tara, for holding it down in the comments. So, y'all, we've reached the 90-minute mark. I want to thank you all for sharing your evening with me and joining me for episode 3 of AeonEsq Live. I will be back here again tomorrow during the lunchtime hour. I'm going to aim to be here at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we'll talk about some more topics, but we're definitely going to recap the latest episode of Chasing Atlanta, because I have lots of thoughts. And if you liked today's live, make sure you go and subscribe to my page. Please, please, please like the video. For the replay gang, if you're having thoughts and feelings, please engage with me in the comments. I am in the comments. So please engage with me. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Please be safe. Also, like I said at the beginning of the video, early voting has begun here in Texas. I went to vote today. I voted for Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine is the one for me, and of course everybody else who's on the ballot here in Texas. But make sure you go to your state governmental websites. Make sure you are still registered to vote. The voter registration purging is real, so make sure that your voting registration is still active. If you have the ability to go vote, if you're having elections this year in 2026, make sure that you go participate in the primaries for whatever party you're in. For the Democratic girls, we got to get some of this old Democratic guard out and get some of this new blood in. So make sure you go and do your part. I did mine today, so make sure you do that. And be safe. Have a safe night. And I will see you all tomorrow for the next episode of AeonEsq Live. Bye.